Namaste. Welcome back, beautiful souls. This is Top Tarot Miners, and today's chat is about the Nine of Swords. And I am probably one of the few people that I know that loves to see this card in a reading. I think we can learn a lot from this card. It is one of the cards of Gemini, the middle decan of Gemini. This is, it carries a lot of energy. If you think about Gemini and its relationship to the lovers and the difficult choices that we have to make in our life, but also the journey of finding oneself, getting to know oneself, developing a loving relationship and a harmonious relationship with self. There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes with the Lover's card. And the 8, the 9, and the 10 of Swords as part of that story contribute a clarity of mind in our choices, in our decisions. And one of the reasons, hi Perry, that I particularly like this card from the Numinous Tarot and the suit in general is the use of bells. I believe I shared the Ace of Bells and the Ace of Swords. It was a crystal bell, crystal clear sound. And here in the Nine of Swords, I don't know if you've heard a wind chime like this. They're very noisy, almost, it can be quite disturbing if you are looking for peace of mind to hear a wind chime that has this much power. Sound is it's a really interesting way to express and consider the suit of swords. And when I think of the 8 and the 9 and the 10 of Swords, these are very noisy cards. The mind, if you think about that in terms of the monkey mind, the busy mind, this is a lot of thought, a lot of chatter, a lot of ideas, really disturbing our peace of mind. And I believe that our lesson in these cards is to find the space between the thoughts, or to find the space between the noise, and practice this so that the space between the thoughts, the space between the noises becomes greater and greater. Now, this card being a 9, and all 9s have a connection to divinity as a 333. And I'm always mindful in reading 9s looking for spiritual connections. And I will build this into my story today. This card that's covered up here is from the Red Seeds Tarot. And while this deck, I've shared quite a few cards from this suit of bees. But this deck is a very, very specific story connected to a particular ritual, if you want to call it that. I think we can read some of these cards more in a general tarot way. And this person here is practicing Nadi Shodhana, alternate nostril breathing. Alternate nostril breathing is a practice that can lead you to a peaceful meditation. It could be something that you do before sleep. it can be the intention of alternate nostril breathing is to bring harmony between the left and the right, between the Ida and the Pingala nadi, between these channels, to harmonize the energy bodies. And so to have this card here is really, for me, feels really powerful. I remember one time I was deep down in the earth in a temple in Kolkata, or somewhere in India. It wasn't in that city. It was somewhere else. And it was late at night, and we were so tired. It was such a, oh my goodness. It was a spiritual journey, and our leader was really testing us. We were doing practices all times of day, crack of dawn, doing rooftop yoga practices, late at night, venturing off into temples to be part of a chanting or something, and we were really being stretched thin. And I remember going down into this sanctum of this temple, and I saw a monk, a sannyasi, sit down on this rather disgusting cement floor that was kind of wet, and they just sat down there, and they were facing a little shrine within the temple, and they just proceeded to do Nadi Shodhana. And I thought, wow, this is discipline. This is discipline. I know it's time to go to bed, and I'm going to come into the temple, going to come into this spiritual center, going to do this breathing practice, and I'm going to meditate here. And there's all kinds of people walking by, and it was a powerful impression, a reminder of how important discipline in our spiritual practices is. So this Nine of Swords for me is a really important card of that choice that we have to choose spirit, to find spirit. Now, when I think about, just let me get a Waite-Smith card. When I think about the Nine of Swords in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, we have a choice to, maybe we wake up at some point in the night and we're just kind of frustrated because all we want to do is sleep. And we sit up in bed and we put our hands on our head and we kind of talking to ourselves and get in this negative space conversation. We just get the mind chatter going, and we can't go back to sleep. And, we're our own worst nightmare. Rather than saying, okay, I can take my hands off my face, do a breathing practice. I can go to a quiet space, or maybe even get up, go outside underneath the stars and lie down. I mean, we have a lot of choices here, but I think in this card, Spirit is waking us up for a reason. And we're at this testing point where we have an opportunity to break through. And sometimes I call this card the breakthrough card. It's about breaking through to spirit. And what that means is what I said earlier. It's about finding the space between the noise, finding the peace, finding the spaciousness in the mind. So when I see a card like this, I know that I'm not alone in my interpretation of this potential breakthrough here. Now, this gorgeous card is from the Gaian Tarot. I think it's one of the most gorgeous cards in the deck, where this woman leans into the tree and is listening to the spirit of the tree, trusting that there is healing, resolution, peace, connection in connecting with spirit. There is no doubt that this effort will go without a connection. A long time ago, I was at a yoga ecology retreat. And one of the practices we were to do, we had a small oil lamp and a little jar of water and some sage or something and a journal and a pen. And we were to go out and find a tree and to sit with the tree and communicate with the tree. Now, the oil lamp and the water was part of a ritual that we could do to honor connection and sacred space. And then we were to sit and receive a message from the tree. And I was so closed off to this. I just was really doubting that any tree was going to talk to me. And so I did this, and I set this up, and I went to this tree, and I thought, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to go back to this tree. And I kid you not, I sat down. I can't remember if it was urine or if it was scat, but I sat down right in the middle of it. And I laughed so hard. I could almost hear the tree laughing back at me. It was a moment. I had a lot of breakthrough moments at that event. So these cards are just, I don't know, so brilliant. This is from the Marielle Tarot. This is an incredible card that seems to show up for me as a past life, a connection through worlds, signaling that the veil is opening or the veil is thinning, that this is an optimal time for connection. It's such a magical card. If you haven't read lately the description for this card in Landscapes of the Abyss, I highly recommend. I'll read you a couple of lines from it, but this is, and my connection with this card really has little to do with Marie White's interpretation. It's just something that has come up for me personally. The Nine of Swords is at the top and is the golden pillar which lies between the two. I should actually go back. I don't know what to read. This whole description is so beautiful. The Temple of Eternity, which you can see at the top of this card, shows up in many cards and sacred iconography. It has two pillars, the black and the white, with or without a veil, which means we usually can't see beyond it. Water like an ocean below and a sun above and beyond the horizon. The world we live in is on one side, and on the other is eternity. In death, the soul goes through this doorway, shedding its body and all attachments that go with it, leaving only the golden soul it built, which moves into the sun. Another name for it could be the house of the horizon. go find your Landscapes of the Abyss and read about this card. This card just seems to come up for me when spirit is near, and it's just so beautiful. I had to show you this card, and this card makes me laugh. The eyebrows. This to me is my Iyengar card. And I've shared this story lots of times on my channel. And I was at a yoga teacher training. And every morning we did meditation. And one of my fellow yoga teacher trainees was coming out of her meditation, and she said, and I don't think she meant to say it aloud, she may have even used expletives, and she said, I feel like Iyengar. Like I can feel my eyebrows. If you know Iyengar, Iyengar is a very famous yoga teacher, and he has a large white, well, he's no longer with us, but a large white unibrow. And when I saw this card in terms of Nine of Swords and that idea of breakthrough and connection with spirit, and Iyengar showing up on this card, it just made me laugh. So often what happens in meditation is you start to feel a buzzing noise. You feel a buzzing, a fuzziness at least I do, on my eyebrows. And I know other people do as well too. And that was what she was feeling, was this solid, large eyebrow, third eye, frontal point chakra just coming alive. So this is tarot de luz. Just makes me laugh. This is a really interesting card. It looks a little bit like what did you call them in the Harry Potter, the Death Eaters? But I think there's a lot going on in this card if you look at it carefully. There is an eclipse. And I think this card speaks to the choice. Here we go again, lovers, right? The choice between dream and nightmare. The choice between heaven and hell. The choice between this muggle world and tapping into something of a much higher frequency. I can read to you there's a couple of lines from Emily Carding in her book. From dream's own breath, the clawed hand grows, and a land. Let's see where. Let me go back. Sorry. The power to make our own dreams true can be of blessed or cursed hue. From dream's own breath, the clawed hand grows, and a landscape wrought of life's harsh blows. The power to make our own dreams true can be blessed or cursed. And so we have this, it's like in those moments, we have the ability to see things from a different perspective. And that, to me, is the gift of the Nine of Swords. This is a Voyager tarot. Keyword is narrowness. I do have that book handy, but let me just speak to it. Again, it's that crowdedness and that lack of perception and the focus on the crowding rather than the space. We always have a choice to focus on the space. And I truly believe that if we focus on the space, it will grow. What we focus on will grow. So, these are just a few different, perhaps, thoughts on the Nine of Swords that I really wanted to share when this card came up. And so, five favorite, well, these four, for sure. They all just paint such a beautiful picture of the Nine of Swords. And I don't think that the message is so very different in these two cards, but I really like the eclipse in this card. And there is a path, and some people are looking forward on the path. Some people are falling over on the path. And I think it's a great card to, and I'm going to show the Ten of Swords from this deck tomorrow as well too, to remember that we always have a choice when things get really, really difficult to choose the light, to choose the space. Yeah. Hi, Laura. I will name all of these cards, and I can name. So this is Tarot de Luz, and the 5 cards that are on the table, left to right, are Marielle and Gaian, Tarot of the She, Numinous Tarot, and the Red Seeds Tarot. Okay, so thank you. I will be back tomorrow with Ten of Swords, and it's a really juicy one as well too. So perhaps I will see you then. And if you're watching the replays, thank you for your comments. I really do love your feedback. Take good care of yourselves. Namaste.